Starting off with number 10, we have Lindsay Lohan and Zac Efron. This is one I'm honestly not even sure that I believe, but hey, you know, they're both teen idols, so I'm sure stranger things have happened. So apparently this rumor started when a sex list came out, showing all the people that Lohan had slept with. And people are pretty sure that the list is accurate because someone who was at the Beverly Hills Hotel claims that they heard Lohan and her friends creating the list. And it wasn't just Zac Efron on the list, there was Evan Peters, James Franco, and even Justin Timberlake. But Zac Efron's name seemed to get the biggest reaction out of people. And since I don't think they've ever dated, it's pretty clear that this would have been a one-night stand type of situation. The story got so big that he was even approached by a paparazzi on the subject. And he was point blank asked about the list when he was getting into a car, and when the paparazzi asked, he just gave a confused look and got out of there as soon as humanly possible. Which I think we can all agree points to yes. Like, he would have just denied it if it wasn't true, right? Like, I wouldn't just be avoiding it. And I have a link to the video here.
Up next, number 9 is Megan Fox and Robert Pattinson. They would make a really hot couple, I'm just saying, and I'm a little disappointed with how this story ends. The story goes that Megan was on a break with her then boyfriend, and now ex-husband, Brian Austin Green, when she hooked up with Robert, who was a single man at the time. But the hookup was just a one-time thing, even though rumor has it that Megan wanted it to be more. The world got some details on their one-night fling after a source who worked on Megan's film Jennifer's Body told E! News what happened. The source said, Megan was totally into Rob and thought he was really cute, but nothing ever went further than that one night they were together. He totally blew her off. Blew off Megan Fox? Like, am I hearing this right? I don't even understand that. There was even some rumors going around at the time that the two of them were dating, and he told British magazine Heat that he was embarrassed by the rumors. I wouldn't even be embarrassed if you started saying I hooked up with Megan Fox.
In at number 8, Ashton Kutcher and Rihanna. Shortly after Ashton Kutcher had divorced from Demi Moore in 2012, there were reports that Rihanna showed up to Ashton's house late at night for a bouquet call. There was even a picture of her SUV showing up to his house at about midnight and not leaving until 4 a.m. And since cheating is what split up him and Demi, people started to speculate if the one-night fling could have been happening for weeks or even months. After some time, it was revealed that they had an 8-week fling while he was recently single, and apparently Rihanna was so smitten with Ashton that she was planning to join his Kabbalah group. In at number 7, Mario Lopez and Britney Spears. Back when Mario Lopez and Britney were in their heydays, they were both incredibly eligible bachelors, so I can definitely see why they got together. The truth came out in Mario Lopez's memoir called Just Between Us. In the book, he wrote of how he hooked up with a quote mega pop star while he was in Vegas, but he was too much of a gentleman at that point to kiss and tell. But a few years later, after some pestering, he did reveal the person in question was none other than the fabulous Britney Spears. In an interview with Ellen, Lopez said, quote, I'm trying not to give too much away without giving too much away. It was maybe 6 or 7 years ago, 8 years ago. He also revealed that him and this pop star were still very friendly, and that is definitely true because Mario joined Britney on stage at the opening night of her Las Vegas residency. So honestly, with an opening like that, I would think that they're still very fond of each other. And at number 6, Kristen Bell and Matthew Morrison. This is another pretty unlikely couple, but these two actually hooked up before both of them got famous in college. Apparently they spent some time together when they were both studying at NYU, with her straight up admitting to the hookup. At the premiere of You Again, she told Us Weekly, quote, I actually went to college with Maddie Morrison. We actually dated very briefly. So I'll have to say maybe Matt Morrison is my favorite part of Glee for various reasons. So based on that reaction, I think it's safe to say that they had, you know, a good time together and are still friendly, so I mean that's good to hear. Halfway, number 5, Madonna and Tupac. This is one that I truly would have never guessed, but since both of them were massive stars back when Tupac was alive, it makes sense that they would, you know, run into each other. Actress Rosie Perez actually spilled the tea on how their relationship started, saying that Madonna actually begged Perez to help set them up, with Perez saying in an interview, quote, I go to the bathroom, I bump into Madonna, and she goes, girl, hook me up. I was like, really? She goes, yeah, hook it up, please. Then she continued that she went back to her seat where Tupac was her date. And basically, as soon as she told him, he was up and ready to find Madonna. But it quickly went from a one-night fling to a full-fledged 18-month relationship. And things ended somewhat badly, with Madonna getting a letter from Tupac breaking up with her. And we know the letter exists because it was actually sold to the highest bidder in an auction. Tupac cited race as the reason for the split, saying in the letter, for you to be seen with a black man wouldn't in any way jeopardize your career. If anything, anything, it would make you seem much more open and exciting. But for me, at least in my previous perception, I felt due to my image, I'd be letting down half the people who made me what I thought I was. And back on the hookup, apparently there's even a tape out there of them in the act, so let me guys know if you've heard of that. I've never heard of that before. And at number 4, Kim Kardashian and Nick Cannon. After her breakup from Ray J, Kim Kardashian and Nick Cannon briefly got together. Apparently the two hooked up, and after the fact they debated whether the two were gonna get in a relationship or not, with the major concern of Nick's being her infamous sex tape. And after he learned that the sex tape was a real thing, he quickly dumped her, with Cannon revealing later that Kim actually lied to him about it. And when he asked her about it, she claimed that it didn't exist. But it was very clear it existed when Vivid released the tape shortly after, with Nick saying in an interview, quote, "If she might have been honest with me, I might have tried to hold her down and be like, that was before me, because she's a great girl. She's actually one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. But the fact that she lied and told me that there was no tape," even adding later in the interview, quote, "and I still think she might have even had a part with its release." And ouch, that is some serious shade if you ask me. And at number 3, Chelsea Handler and 50 Cent. This is one that I would have been shocked about, but Chelsea brings it up so often that I've known about this hookup for years. When talking about their relationship, Chelsea said, "He was a very sweet, nice guy. I was sampling, kind of the atmosphere, seeing what was out there, and I was satiated." Which we can kind of imply as the hookup was good, but also she might not have wanted to do it again. Like, satiated is an interesting word, right? Apparently it all started when 50 went on Chelsea's show, but was incredibly late, and to make up for it, he sent her so many roses that he actually filled her office. So they ended up going out, and it was a full-fledged relationship, with Chelsea being shocked at how sweet that he was. But they sadly broke up after some time, and they still seem pretty fond of each other. And at number 2, Selena Gomez and Niall Horan. So Selena and Niall sparked dating rumors after they were seen together multiple times in the span of a week or so. It started when they were seen at Jenna Dewan Tatum's birthday party, and they were seen making out and dancing together practically all night. And the rumors picked up steam further when they were seen at the Santa Monica Pier the next night. But even though they were seen together for a brief time, the both of them shut down the dating rumors years later, with Niall speaking to SiriusXM about Selena, saying, quote, "We're friends, we have the same group of friends, we hang out all the time. The one photo that was ever taken got posted. We are good friends." Then Selena also denied the rumors in an interview with ET Online, saying when asked if they were dating, quote, "Oh my god, no," adding, "I love him, I always have, he's amazing." So I don't know about this one, but I mean, come on, like something must have happened. They were making out all night at a party, then the Santa Monica Pier, which is like very romantic if you ask me, so I'm sure something went down.
In our number 1 spot is Mel B and Jerry Halliwell, also known as Scary Spice and Ginger Spice. For years, rumors have persisted that the two of them had a lesbian fling back in their day, but the rumors were always left unresolved. Even during interviews when each of them have spoken about it, the other one denied that it happened and it was really awkward, so a lot of questions were left unanswered. That was until Mel B confirmed that they did have a sexual fling during the height of their fame in the 90s. In 2019, Mel B went on Piers Morgan's TV show Life Stories and said that they were best friends and that it just happened. Piers asked her if they were in love during their fling, and Mel insisted that it was just friendship. Her revealing their one-night stand actually caused a lot of controversy because Jerry lives a very posh lifestyle now, as she called it. Jerry personally did not speak on the actual fling, but she did say that the story coming out was very damaging to her family and that she was very upset by it. Kicking off our countdown at number 1 is Mel B and Zac Efron. Now, I know she was on our part 1 list, but it is not my fault that she has some juicy hookups under her belt. Literally. It was in 2018 when we found out the shocking news that Mel B hooked up with the High School Musical star. She was 43 at the time and he was 30, and the hookup happened after she split from her husband Stephen Belafonte. Turns out they started talking on a dating app and exchanged flirty text messages. What I would do to see those screenshots. Mel does not hide the hookup, but she doesn't exactly flaunt it either. One of her friends does though. They spoke with the son and said he ended up driving over to her pad. They hit it off and spent a few enjoyable hours together. It wasn't exactly a meeting of the minds. Neither saw it as long term, but there was chemistry there. Mel thought Zac had an amazing body. Don't we all? Zac has admitted to being on Tinder in the past and said that no one swiped him because they thought his profile was fake.
In at number 9, Russell Brand and and Courtney Love. Honestly, this one isn't like too shocking to me. I feel like both these two people can be pretty, promiscuous, so it's kind of only a matter of time that they would find each other, right? I feel like they're a really good match. Like, I like to see it. According to the Mirror, just days after Russell Brand had slept with 3 fans in one night, him and Courtney Love hooked up at a hotel in London. Apparently, she told a friend, quote, "He was delicious." However, a few years after that rumor came out, Courtney Love came on record denying that she ever hooked up with Brand, saying that the two were once hanging out, and Russell Brand said, quote, "I've had a lot of grand conversations, darling, but none of them have ever ended with an orgasm. Can we go to your room?" Which is bold, but also I guess it's Russell Brand, right? If anyone's gonna be that bold, like it's gonna be him. Then Courtney apparently shut him down, replying, quote, "You're too musky for me, man," adding that they had just gone to yoga and that's why she was saying that he was musky. But Courtney took nothing but good vibes from the situation and continued, quote, "I do think he is a national treasure. God, I wish I was as good as him. He flirts with men openly too." So I guess the jury is still out on this one, but there's clearly some, interest, I guess.
Up next, number 8 is Mickey Rourke and Evan Rachel Wood. This one is still a huge debate, and the two of them were not happy when rumors were going around about their hookup back in 2009. But the rumors didn't just come out of nowhere. They came after paparazzi caught them on a night out together where they were dancing, and his hands were around her waist, and they even kissed. Witnesses who saw them that night said they did look like they were more than friends, and that she seemed really happy. People were making a very big deal about it because they were co-stars in The Wrestler. He was cast as her father. He was 60 years old at the time and she was 25, so of course people were gonna talk about it. It also came at a time when she had ended things with Marilyn Manson. But they deny the rumors, and Evan actively told sources to spread the word that they are just friends. So I will let you guys be the judge of this one, but I don't kiss friends. Sliding into spot number 7 is Courtney Love and Kate Moss. I know, I am just as shocked as you are. Fans were dying to know who Courtney was talking about when she went on the Howard Stern show and started talking about a spicy hookup with a hot supermodel. At first, she wouldn't say who it was, and for years, people were dying for confirmation after rumors of who it could be started surfacing. She talked about the hot supermodel and spilled the details about a hot night they had together in Italy. She said, "She pretty much chased me around the room, literally, like she was the aggressor. I thought to myself, you know what, if you're gonna do it with that one." It wasn't until an interview later on when she was asked who the model was, and then she admitted that it was Kate Moss. She went on to say that Kate doesn't care if she reveals it because it is a great story for her grandchildren someday. Rolling into number 6 is Christina Applegate and Brad Pitt. The actress spilled the tea about their little fling that a lot of people didn't even know happened. Turns out when it happened back in 1988, he was not the A-list actor that he is now, and she had no problem breaking his little heart. At the time, she was well known for her role on Married with Children. She explained their fling and said they got together by having mutual friends, and she even admitted to how she broke things off. She talked about it and said, "We were just part of this group of people that hung out, and we decided to sort of cross the friend line. We went to the MTV Awards and I ditched him. I left with somebody else." Who was this somebody else? Because who was better than Brad Pitt? We've made it halfway through the list and we have Justin Timberlake and Fergie. The singer appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and played one of his talk show games called Plead the Fifth. She was asked 5 different questions, but she can only plead the 5th to one of them. Since rumors have always gone around about her hooking up with Justin, Andy Cohen obviously asked her about it, hoping to get some explanation. At first, she asked if she could plead the 5th, but then she answered saying that they were just a fling. "One of my good friends was dating JC, so we'd all hang out with NSYNC. Justin and I would go out together and have fun and make out. We went to Hawaii together, but we were never serious. He was Mr. Right Now." She also confirmed the timeline and said that he was 16 and she was 23 when it happened, and it was before he got all hot and heavy with Britney Spears. That age gap is so weird. She was 23 and he was 16. I'ma just let that. Coming into number 4 is Sharon Osbourne and Jay Leno. Back in 2013, Sharon was doing a new segment called Big Secret on The Talk and revealed that she had a fling with Jay Leno a very long time ago. She was very open about it and said she had just moved to America at the time and didn't know many people. This was back in 1978. She dished on it and said that she had met her now husband Ozzy during that time, but that they were just friends. She met Jay when she went to a club with her friends friend who worked there because he was performing one of his comedy routines. So she ended up telling her friend that she liked him, and they prank called him later on. The prank call was actually the start of it all because they ended up just calling each other all the time, and they just really enjoyed each other's company. She said from there, one thing led to another, and he came over to her house to meet her finally, and that is when their fling happened. But a couple months into their fling, Jay had eyes on someone else and actually introduced Sharon to his new girl that he really liked, and in the end she said that they all ended up being friends. In the third spot is Cher and Tom Cruise. It was in June 2013 when Cher revealed to the world that she and Tom had a spicy little fling back in 1987. She was on Watch What Happens Live when she talked about it and had nothing but positive things to say. During the interview, she was asked to rank her lovers, and Tom was one of the ones on her list. She responded by saying he was in the top 5. It's not a long list, but a good list. But she went on to say that even outside the bedroom, he was still a great, lovable guy. People have talked about their hookup for years, and maybe that's because Cher has dished about it in multiple interviews. She actually admitted that it could have been a serious relationship if it were up to her, because it wasn't just a physical thing for her. In 2008, she told Oprah, I quote, "It could have been a great big romance because I was crazy for him." To think about what could have been if Tom and Cher had gotten together, or married even, or had kids. Taking over our second place is Paris Hilton and Val Kilmer. These two shocked everyone when pictures of them making out surfaced back in 2006. Apparently the photos were actually from 2002, but didn't get out until 4 years later. The pictures were from the time when Val was filming Wonderland, which Paris Hilton had a cameo in. The photographs show them getting very handsy with each other while making out, and they were randomly published in an Australian magazine. Weekly publication NW claimed that they had exclusively obtained the images, claiming they came from one of Paris Hilton's storage units in LA after she fell behind on payments. The hookup was so shocking because for years no one even knew that had happened. Val was 46 at the time in the photos and Paris was 25, and people only ever saw them as co-stars. Plus, Val hasn't always said kind things about Paris, so they weren't sure why they were making out. During an interview in 2005, Val actually criticized her in the media and said, "Paris Hilton is a great example. She's famous for nothing. It's what we are celebrating in my country, the nothingness of her fame." Well, you weren't saying that when your tongue was down her throat.
And finally at number 1, Janet Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. Janet Jackson hooking up with Matthew McConaughey is a rumor that has circulated in Hollywood for years. Apparently they briefly dated in 2002 after they met at the Grammys and hit it off. At the time, McConaughey passed the romance off as just a friendship, but later Jackson admitted to the brief fling before getting serious with producer Jamie Dupree. And to put the rumor to rest once and for all, Andy Cohen took the opportunity of Matthew McConaughey coming on his show to get the truth about the incident. When asked if him and Janet Jackson had ever dated, McConaughey confused everyone when he started laughing uncontrollably. For like a long time, for like 25 seconds, it was like, what? But after some confusion, he admitted that they did go out for dinner once, but that was about it. So yeah, interesting reaction, but I guess they went out.